This is the guy. I don't know if you guys on camera 3 know this.
Yeah.
The Southern boy here is the one who has a friend who gives hand jobs to dogs. This is yeah.
I just want to know, is there good money in it?
The dog didn't care.
You know, it was a one-time thing. It happened so fast. I looked at it, I was like, did that actually just happen? Did I see?
Thank you for carrying it over for
Well, you're
me.
welcome.
All right.
Anything I can do.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
for
It's
being here.
always
Thank
good
you
to
for
be
taking
here.
it for us. He always takes one for the boys. All right, drink a little more coffee over there on camera 3. All right, we spun the wheel of backwater tall tales, as it were.
Yes, they're so
we
witty.
came up with the following rather creative MGD stories, which we will now give camera 3 guests a chance to mull over.
We have the power.
Yeah, with that hat. Oh, here we go. You ready for the topics, gentlemen?
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, MGD goes to a pig pickin'. Number two, baby MGD finds a sick bullfrog.
What's his name?
Number 3,
Good one.
MGD rolls around naked in the mud. Always a good standby there, right?
Is there video?
And number 4, we're going to play the video. Hang tight for that.
I think we have an early winner.
And number 4, MGD directs hillbillies in a stage production of Fiddler on the Roof. With Tevye and Seidel and the
Discuss it amongst yourselves and go ahead and pick up the top
Pretty good.
You like
Bullfrog.
the bullfrog
Yeah.
story. All right.
We're
Let's
just
go.
going to leave this over to you, MGD. Go for it.
All right, so I was about 4 years old or so. I was over at my grandmama's house, and
What state?
This is in Memphis, Tennessee,
Okay.
which is where I was born.
Well,
You're pure
And,
Southern. Georgia, Tennessee,
Yes,
pure
Memphis,
Southern.
Tennessee,
All right.
absolutely. And so, anyways, we'd had a rainstorm, and I went out after the rain, and I was playing around underneath this tree, and I found a bullfrog. And I don't mean like a little toad or a tree frog. I mean like a
It's a
big,
bullfrog.
like a bullfrog, like you see like on TV. And I picked it up, and I thought, oh my God, this bullfrog is mine. It's like, and I was petting it. It was really friendly, and you know, we'd like take him for like little
Hold on. So
leaps and stuff. Yes,
you
go
have
ahead.
a picture of yourself petting your bullfrog?
No, there are no pictures in existence, unfortunately. Well, a couple of days later, the bullfrog.
It's a little dirty.
I know. Well, I meant it to be.
Okay, we're at the sad part of the story now. A couple of days later, the bullfrog died. And,
Did you feed it? Give it air?
I tried to take care of it. I kept it in a little cardboard box, and it died. And so I thought, well, maybe that's why he wouldn't jump so much, you know, when I would take him out to go jumping. And so, anyway, we had this big elaborate burial ceremony in the garden, and I buried the bullfrog and everything. And a few years later, well, like a decade later, I was at my grandparents' house.
So now you're 14.
Yes, well, a little. Maybe
15,
I was like,
16.
you know, I was like maybe 17, 18, or 20.
Okay.
And and we were discussing pets that had passed away because, you know, a lot of time had passed and a lot of animals had been buried since then. And I was like, I remember this bullfrog that I caught, and I was telling my grandma the whole story about, you know, how cool it was to have a bullfrog, and she's like, yeah, you know, I think we still have that bullfrog around here somewhere. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, Marin, because that was my grandfather's name, Marin, Brucky wants to see that bullfrog. That was my nickname, was Brucky.
Bucky?
Brucky.
Brucky.
Yeah, that's
Why
another.
was your nickname Brucky?
That's another story.
Okay.
She's like, Brucky wants to go
That's
see
for
that
a gay bar
bullfrog.
sometime.
So my grandfather goes off into the hall, and he comes back, and he brings it. He's like, hold out your hands, and he puts this big rock in my hand that looked like a chunk of like asphalt mixed with some concrete. And I was like, what's this? And he said, that's your bullfrog. And I was like, this is the rock. She's like, yeah, that's your bullfrog. And it's like, no, I caught a bullfrog. And he said, no, you caught a rock. And I remembered so vividly that this was an actual bullfrog, and I had to pursue it through the mud, and I caught it, and I was so happy, and then I tamed it, and got it, to where it would accept me as, a friend. And then it got sick and it died, and I went through this whole thing, and they were like, it was a rock, and I was
Can
like,
we could actually say then, with justification, that you probably found and owned the first pet rock in the United States?
Well, it did a very good bullfrog impression for a 4-year-old.
Yes. Camera 3 has a
And then camera 1 does, but go ahead.
So, honey, you were just stupid?
Well, I will say this, that when I was
He
7...
doesn't look stupid, does he, camera 3?
When
He's
I was-
looking much more attractive to me.
That figures.
I took the Mensa qualification test at 17 and I passed. I took it again at 25 and I failed.
As we say in the South,
Yes.
bless your heart.
So cute, love the hat too. What exactly is Brucky?
Okay, Brucky, my older sister, who's 11 and a half months older than me, we do things really quick. As soon as a woman's has a baby, they try to get her pregnant right away so she won't have, extra energy to make decisions. And so I was immediately... So, my older sister, they tried to get her to say brother, and she couldn't say brother. She could say Brucky, and so that became my nickname was Brucky.
So your sister
that's
was
cute.
pregnant?
Huh?
Your
No.
sister was pregnant?
She was Shaughnessy.
She just couldn't speak. She was 13 months old.
He's still thinking about jacking off the dog. He's not even paying attention over here. What exactly is a pig picking? I know you're from the South, and none of us. Well, Wacky Zach is from Tennessee. You've been to. You're from Texas. Excuse me. I corrected myself.
Yes.
MGD is from Tennessee. You were from Texas. Have you been to a pig picking?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm sure you have. Maybe don't call
what is
it
a
that.
what is
I
a
don't
pig?
know.
What do you do at a pig picking?
A pig picking is a barbecue. It's a Southern barbecue where usually you get like a whole hog that's been gutted. It's just the meat, and they take it and they put them in like a fire pit, and it's for like 24 hours, and it's usually like a gang of like firemen or somebody like that having a charity, because those are the only people who.
So
would put in
everybody
this kind of
comes to the pig picking?
Everybody, but the best part is to hang out with a fireman while the pig is cooking, because they just bring like 10 cases of beer and they drink it over the course of the night while they're cooking this pig, and then the next day everybody comes out and it's so tender and so juicy, and you just like take it and it just falls
People
apart
just
in your
pick-
mouth. It's so
pick the
good.
meat off
yeah,
a
they
pig?
pick the meat off of a pig.
Is there a
Yeah,
head and a
exactly.
snout on it still?
Yeah,
That's
but
just
usually
rotating
most people
around?
don't use that part. Yeah, that
But it's still there on the
It's
juice.
there. It's all there. Yeah.
How many pig pickings have you been to in your
Oh,
life?
a few thousand.
A few hundred.
A few thousand. The last pig picking I went to was actually hosted by my good friend Linda Lavin, otherwise
as you
known
spoken.
as Television's Alice.
Right.
And
Linda had her own pig picking.
she is not from the South, but she bought a home in North Carolina after she did some films there. She fell in love with it, and she wanted to have a pig picking. So of course they brought in like this Hollywood pig picking, and it's like the pig was all shiny and.
Wait, where does one get the pig?
Most butchers marks it. I mean, if they don't carry it,
They can get it
you can order
in
it
the
in
South,
advance,
in
and you can get a
Camera
whole
3 is waving them in the air like they just don't care. Let's go. What do we got going on here, Zachalicious?
I have a
Yes?
question. Does Clay Aiken, being from the Carolinas, does he host a pig poking? Oh!
You went there.
I think that's
I
like.
said it. I said it.
I have a Clay Aiken story, but unfortunately, I can't say it on the air.
I'll tell you afterwards.
By the way,
I'll
I'll tell you
change
that
the
after
name.
too.
If he did, it was probably the first pig picking that ever took place at the Hollywood Athletic Club. But anyway,
But remind me, I have an Anderson Cooper story too for you.
Why are you rolling around naked in the mud?
oh, that's just another thing my grandmother would say to me. She's like,
I don't think we ought to have your grandmother on the show instead of you. What do you think?
Oh, she'd probably agree. She was like, so do you remember that time, Brucky, when you was out taking a mud bath in the backyard? And I said, no, I don't. She's like, well, the neighbors sure remember, because they still talk about it today. They were out there laughing at you. And I said, well, what happened? She said, well, you took the garden hose and you made a 6-foot mud puddle in the backyard and toot off all your clothes and started bathing in the mud. I'm sure this was something I saw in Little Rascals and felt it was very important.
You don't remember doing it?
Well, maybe a little, but I don't remember the. So I do remember her
yesterday.
hosing me off afterwards.